Hi everyone, my name is Laura and I just wanted to hop on here actually and do a short Lipedema 101. So this is for anyone who has a new diagnosis or is unfamiliar with what lipedema is. I'm just going to give a bunch of information in a compact format. So lipedema is characterized by an accumulation of fat on limbs. So generally your lower limbs, your legs and your arms. It's often referred to as the two parts syndrome. So generally a woman's top half will be an average size, and then her bottom half doesn't look like it fits because of the accumulation of adipose tissue on her legs. I don't even think every woman with lipedema is really clear about what lipedema even is, because it's sort of silly that they even still refer to lipedema fat as fat, because it was fat but no longer responds like fat once it has become lipedema fat. And here is what happens, because this is all my interpretation. I have read many medical journals, witnessed many medical conferences. While the cause of lipedema is unknown, there is some understanding of what happens in the body, and there's some understanding of triggers and whatnot. So some of those triggers are hormones, excess female hormones, stress, a sluggish lymphatic system. Often women who have lipedema have leaky gut, food sensitivities, as well as leaky veins or even venous insufficiency. And so what happens to induce the creation of lipedema fat is our lymphatic system isn't quite working properly. So a lot of women with lipedema don't really sweat much. And what happens is when you have an excess of this lymph fluid that is supposed to be carrying toxins out of your body and it's just not getting there, what happens is the fat, when you have lipedema, will engulf that excess toxin. So it could just be fluid, but also estrogen, sometimes it's abnormal cells, etc. And what it does is it engulfs it, I imagine like Pac-Man, and then it encases itself so that it cannot get back out. So then as soon as it does that, from the research that I've read and the research that's being done, is the body says, hey, I'm missing a fat cell. And so once you become adult, typically people don't gain more fat cells. They typically grow or shrink. And so all of a sudden this fat cell is encased, and your body's so smart when you have lipedema. Your body goes, wait a minute, we're missing a fat cell. One must have escaped. And then it creates another fat cell. And so that's why you'll see a tremendous accumulation of adipose tissue and fat on some women in later stages of lipedema. So what I have done for myself is I've done lots of research, got versed on the conservative measures that you can take. The number one conservative measure you can take is wearing compression leggings. This is so amazing, like it's a game changer. So when you wear the compression leggings, it supports your lymphatic system in getting that fluid up from your legs and pumping it out. So, and it's something you don't physically have to do except the physical motion of getting the compression pants on or stockings, which can be quite the trip. It could also be your cardio for the day. Anybody who's worn medical grade compression stockings knows what I'm talking about. However, if you have not yet, you can start with just some compression leggings off of Amazon. Go see your doctor, get a prescription. They are fairly expensive in Canada. You require a prescription. If you have benefits, they're likely covered. I pay out of pocket. I know in the UK, the NHS covers, I think 2 pair per year. And I'm sure in other countries, some are covered, some may require extra insurance, etc. But that is one thing you can start right away to support your lymphatic system so that fluid or those toxins aren't getting stuck. And then that lipedema fat going, hey, wait a minute, this has been here a while. And then, okay, sorry guys. So that's just kind of in a nutshell, kind of my elevator pitch on what lipedema is. So compression leggings is the first thing. Movement is the second. So if walking is challenging or painful, because lipedema can be painful for some women, also it is often misdiagnosed as obesity. So if it's diagnosed as obesity and you're just told to diet and you continue to try and diet, but you've had a surge in hormones that have nothing to do with what you're eating, or they could, depending on the research out there or the opinions of some doctors, your body continues to produce more and more fat because this lipedema fat is being created because the lymphatic system is so backed up. At this point, sometimes women will get lipodema, which is lymphedema and lipedema as well. So it's almost like it gets so bad that it impairs your lymphatic system, just as sometimes cancer or surgeries can do in your body. So not getting there. How do we not get there, or how do we begin to incorporate movement even if we are there? So walking. If walking is painful, get in the water and walk. So even if you go to a local swimming pool or if you live near a lake, get in the water and walk. So that has two benefits. Being in the water while also walking. So the walking is getting lymph fluid moving, but also water creates natural compression. So this is something that is really, really beneficial for women with lipedema, but also any woman in firing up her lymphatic system or supporting her lymphatic system. Swimming is really wonderful. But if you cannot get up and move, shaking, shaking is even going to shake up your lymphatic system and support lymph movement. That brings me to vibration plate. So I utilize a vibration plate. I feel like it works in kind of shaking up my lymphatic fluid so that I can support my lymph system in getting rid of any toxins or anything that does not support my wellness. And so a vibration plate, or they sometimes call it a vibration wver, is like that thing from like the 50s that shakes and you shake on it. So it's shaking everything up. It's just shaking up your whole body. If you're unable to stand on it, you can put it in front of your couch, sit and put your feet on it. You're still gonna get that movement. If you want to take it a step further, you can do squats while you're on it. You could balance. I like to also try and let my entire body go limp and just so everything's shaking. And yeah, the really cool thing is you could even come down and come into plank and experience the benefits. My cousin told me that the vibration plate was created for astronauts in space so that they can continue to build up muscle tone. So it can also support building up muscle tone. I am not entirely aware of the benefits of my muscle tone because I'm also lifting weights and I walk regularly. So I haven't done just the vibration plate exclusively to see if it in fact does tone your body. So another thing that I do personally to support my lymphatic system that's considered a conservative measure is I also use a trampoline. So all of these things fall into movement. The reason why a trampoline is so wonderful, or a rebounder, is because you're really going to be feeling it in your calves, and your calves are supporting pumping that blood back up. It's also going to support your lymphatic system. And so I love my rebounder. I just kind of have it in a walkway area, like it's an open area, but it's where everybody walks. And generally my entire family, when you walk by, you hop on the rebounder. It's really fun. And we live currently in a cottage. So the ceilings are pretty low. So the kids are trying to touch the ceiling. I'm actually touching the ceiling. I mean, they're about my height, so they for sure are touching the ceiling as well. And it's not only is it beneficial for your lymphatic system and toning your calves and your muscles, but it's also a lot of fun. Okay, so what's another conservative measure? So I guess another conservative measure would be ensuring you're getting a lot of water intake. So this helps to flush out your lymphatic system. I drink a ton of water naturally, like I'm thirsty right now. I'm gonna grab my water. I add lemon to my water. I drink one of these. How many ounces is this? 40 ounce Stanley. I drink about like 4 or 5 of these a day. I've always been very thirsty my whole life, had all of the diabetes tests because I drank so much and had to pee a lot. I wonder if it is connected to high insulin levels or insulin resistance. I don't know, but I drink a lot of water naturally. But if you don't, set a reminder on your phone. When you go to bed, put a large glass of water next to your bed, and in the morning before you put your feet on the ground, drink the entire glass. Another really great way to make a habit of drinking lots of water is always drink a full glass of water before you have anything to eat. So if you feel like you want a snack, instead drink an 8-ounce glass of water. You may find that you were just thirsty, not even hungry. So this will benefit you in a variety of ways. So that's another conservative measure I'm sure that I stay on top of. So, and the final one I'm going to share with you today is tapping into food intolerances or foods that cause inflammation in your body. So I can tell each and every one of you that any kind of fried food is going to cause inflammation in your body, and it's going to last for potentially a couple of days. So if you're eating fried food, say every other day, you're not even allowing your body to go back to normal in terms of inflammation before you're putting it back into your body. So be curious about that. And if you decide to, limit the amount of fried food you eat, know that don't restrict yourself. Just decide that you want to feel good more than you want to have fried food regularly. Another thing that is very common with women in North America is having a gluten or a wheat allergy. This is connected to the leaky gut correlation between lipedema and a wheat intolerance. And so I know personally when I do not eat wheat, I feel 1,000 times better. I begin to have an inflammation response immediately. And my belly would swell, my hands will swell. And so I choose most of the time to not have any wheat. I have talked in another video about things that I gave up in order to lose weight. And one of those things is restricting food. So I do not restrict any food. I allow myself to have whatever it is I want. I'm just so in tune to how my body feels now that I remember how I feel when I eat wheat. And so if someone offers me wheat, I get to make a choice, an informed decision. I know that this will make me feel bad. Maybe I will abstain from that and get myself some gluten-free bagels. So I do have gluten-free carbohydrates in my house in case I want some peanut butter and jam on some bread. And so I can participate with family dinners in another way. Okay, another common food intolerance is sugar. Sugar as well as alcohol, and for some people, dairy. And so really tuning in to how you feel after you have these things, and then maybe limiting how much you have. It's always best to eat less processed food. So the more of a natural state your food is in, the more nourishing it is likely going to be for you, according to much research. But ultimately, you are guiding you. You are the one who needs to tap in and tune into what your body feels, because sometimes it's not that you can't eat dairy at all. It's that you have a threshold and you can only eat so much. And so really beginning to pay attention to this and then making decisions about the food that you eat as a result, so that you support your lymphatic system and having less work to do. Okay, so this is sort of in a nutshell, a little Lipedema 101. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna share, those were the conservative measures. I'm going to share the way to completely eliminate lipedema fat from your body is with a lipedema reduction surgery. So for some women who are later stages, this will require a specialized doctor who is often willing to work on a woman with a higher BMI. So it's important that you're going to someone who specializes in lipedema, and you may need 3 to, I've seen some women that have had about 15 surgeries to remove all of the lipedema growth in their body. And I personally was likely around stage 2, but I had done a bunch of conservative measures, so I had actually potentially went back to stage 1, and I opted to have lipedema removal surgery. This was once I got my hormones in check. I figured out the foods that didn't bode so well with my body, as well as created some really, really healthy habits to support my own lymphatic system. Oh, I forgot MLD. So you can get that by a manual lymphatic drainage massage therapist. I found that a lot of massage therapists were unfamiliar with it in my area. I'm in I'm in a beach town about 20 minutes from London, Ontario. And so I found a woman who had trained in manual lymphatic drainage in like a Brazilian method. So it was often used to support women healing after surgeries. So I opted to have lipedema removal surgery, and it has been amazing. I want to say 6 months post-op. I feel incredible. I am still healing. They call it like the healing year. And I do think that I may on my legs only need the 1 surgery as of now, as long as I don't have some sort of hormonal surge that sets off new lipedema growth. And yeah, it is wonderful. So there are a lot of different options, not a lot of options in Canada. There are some plastic surgeons that do say they do lipedema removal surgery. However, I opted to go overseas. It's studied and been done for a longer period of time, and they use a lymph-sparing means to remove the lipedema fat. And that was something that was really, really important to me. I personally, I did a video on this. I personally went to Poland. I wanted a woman to operate on me, and it was a wonderful, wonderful decision for me. Surgery is a very personal choice. I do not think that it's necessary in order to thrive. For some, it may be, because some women with lipedema, their lipedema has progressed so far advanced that it can impede their ability to exercise, movement. The pain can be something that can sometimes seem almost unbearable. So if you are new to this information and you want to start with anything, like I said at the beginning of my video, I would start with getting some compression and drinking lots of water. The trick for me in terms of getting well and really thriving was tiny, tiny habits implemented gradually. So I didn't start everything that I've just told you today at once. It was all very gradual, and I haven't even shared every single thing that I do. I also do some supplementation, and there's some herbs and some essential oils that can support lymphatic flow, but that is for another day. So I always, always, always encourage you to stack habits, especially when you're implementing new habits to support lymphatic drainage and good health. So for example, I didn't even tell you about this one. I do calf pumps where I go up on my tiptoes, heels are lifted, and then back down and up and down, up and down. And this just works my calves and it supports lymphatic flow. And so I often recommend doing that while you're brushing your teeth, and begin to create a habit of doing one thing at a time. This way, it becomes an automatic thing that you do daily. It's not something that you're gonna have to think about once you have stacked it with an existing habit and then done it regularly. And then it just makes everything feel easy. And know that one of the other really, really important things is your mindset. Because if you are a woman living with lipedema and you have experienced people telling you your whole life, you just need to eat better, you just need to exercise, it can be really mentally taxing to then believe that there is a way to begin to feel better. But as a woman who has been through that, I will tell you this, that shifting your mindset to one that anything is possible and that every day gets better and better, it truly manifests that as your reality when you think that way. And so if you are in a state where you're not feeling that great, sometimes you may even be experiencing some depression or anxiety that's connected to how you feel, what you look like, pain that you experience, I would very strongly encourage you to begin with the affirmation, anything is possible. Anything is possible. And just start there. Anyways, I want you all to know that anything is possible, and I think every woman deserves to thrive in her body and feel well. So if you are new here, please subscribe. Feel free to comment if you are someone who does several conservative therapies, or there's different health and wellness techniques that you use to support your lymphatic system, your metabolism, firing up your digestive juices, balancing your hormones, maintaining insulin levels. So I'm just kind of throwing it all out there. Share in the comments. I love hearing from you, even if it's just like, hey, I liked this video, or hey, that's interesting. I love to experience it. Okay, gonna stop it there. We're at 22 minutes. Have a great day.